You're watching ESPN America.
In Cincinnati tonight, a big test in the AFC North is brewing as the Steelers come to town to battle the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Beautiful night, Paul Brown Stadium, downtown Cincinnati. Temperature 60 degrees. Good rivalry in play tonight. Ben Roethlisberger, the Ohio native, comes back to the Buckeye State to take on second-year quarterback Andy Dalton and the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle before you. Welcome to Cincinnati, where each team got a nice gift earlier today when the Ravens lost in Houston. So Baltimore is now 5-2 and very much within sight of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 2-3, 2-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. They have blown 3 fourth-quarter leads already this season. Defense has become the issue in Pittsburgh, and this team will have to fight through a lot of impactful injuries tonight. Now, the Bengals are 3-3, but on the skids a little bit, because in the last 2 weeks they've lost to Miami and Cleveland in games they were favored to win. And the Cincinnati Bengals have not been to the playoffs in successive seasons in 30 years, since 81-82, when Chris Collinsworth was breaking in. Man, have they missed you, partner.
You've been talking to my mom again lately, haven't you?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. Well, Chris Collinsworth was there for 2 Super Bowls, but the Bengals right now trying to rebound, trying to go to 4-3. Good opportunity tonight. Troy Polamalu was hurt for Pittsburgh. Their top 2 running backs are hurt. How does Cincinnati exploit that advantage?
Well, first of all, the Pittsburgh Steelers are throwing the ball more now than they have really at any point in their history, and it really plays right into the strength of the Cincinnati Bengals. Already 20 sacks on the season, which ranks 2nd in the NFL. So if the Bengals are going to win this game tonight, Geno Atkins and company are going to have to get after Big Ben.
On the flip side, Pittsburgh is playing with a short deck tonight with all of those injuries. How do they overcome those?
Well, so far the Steelers have not played up to the standards of the Pittsburgh Steelers, either on the defensive side of the ball or with the way that they're running the football. But what they do very well is throw the ball with Ben Roethlisberger and these outstanding receivers. And you just wonder, is tonight the night they finally really cut them loose, maybe a little no huddle, and see what happens?
Well, for most of the last 9 years, it's come down to Ben.
Yeah.
And it figures to tonight, and he's got Mike Wallace to throw to. Meanwhile, you've got Dalton and Green on the other side. Could be a shootout tonight in Cincinnati on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football doubleheader live on ESPN America. It's full-on action as the NFL takes over the home of football, where the Rams of St. Louis welcome Brady and the Patriots to Wembley Stadium. Then it's back across the Atlantic as the Giants and Cowboys renew their rivalry in the NFC East. It all starts Sunday at 1500 CET with Sunday NFL Countdown. Sunday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL. With the Fall Classic in the air, ESPN America is giving you the chance to vote for your favorite baseball-themed 30 for 30. Choose from the House of Steinbrenner.
I want you to go out there and bust your butt, and I mean bust your butt, and you better not disappoint me.
Silly Little Game.
The game as we know it can be recreated from numbers.
Or 4 Days in October.
Red Sox winning.
Visit espnamerica.com to cast your vote.
He took the helm in 2003. He's in his 10th season as the head coach of the Bengals. He's Marvin Lewis, and moments ago he spoke with Michelle.
Coach, you have been critical of your team the last couple of weeks for being too nice, not having a killer instinct. What specifically do you need to see tonight to know that they got the message?
Well, we got to go win. You got to win one play after another. You got to win each down, 11 guys, and that's what I'm looking forward to tonight.
In 2009, you swept the Steelers. The last 2 years, they've swept you. So what is essential to having success against them tonight?
We have to take care of the ball and take it away from them. The team that wins the takeaway battle will win the football game.
Coach, thank you very much. And the Bengals are down to just 2 active running backs tonight as Brian Leonard is out with a rib injury. Meanwhile, a lot of injuries for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their top 2 running backs, Rashard Mendenhall and Isaac Redmond, are both out. Pro Bowl center Marquise Pouncey and starting right tackle Marcus Gilbert are both inactive. And Troy Polamalu out again with a calf injury, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Every coach in the league right now saying next man up, and that's the case tonight. You go back to 88 through 90, the Bengals won 6 straight against the Steelers. But since then, since 91, the Steelers are 31-11. They are 17-4 here in Cincinnati. And that doesn't include a playoff victory in 05 on the way to a Super Bowl title. Mike Tomlin, who took over for Bill Cowher in 2007 and has taken his team to 2 Super Bowls, winning 1, losing 1. His team will get the ball because Mike Nugent will kick off. Cincinnati won the toss and have elected to defer. Chris Rainey, who can be spectacular, a rookie out of Florida, picked in the 5th round, a guy who can bust one at any time, is back to receive the kick. Paul Brown Stadium, great atmosphere tonight on a perfect night, and away we go from the Queen City. A yard into the end zone, Rainey. To the outside he comes, and Rainey with a good run back to put Pittsburgh in good position all the way out to the 40-yard line, tackled by Andrew Hawkins. Let's take a look at the Steelers starters.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Jonathan Dwyer, Georgia Tech.
Will Johnson, West Virginia.
Mike Wallace, Old Perry Walker High School.
Antonio Brown, Central Michigan.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Max Starks, Florida Gators.
Willie Colon, Hofstra University.
Doug Legursky, Marshall University.
Ramon Foster, Tennessee.
Mike Adams, The Ohio State University.
And Michelle talking about the injuries, and thus Jonathan Dwyer, who would be number 3 on the depth chart, becomes the starting running back. Third-year man from Georgia Tech, drafted in the 6th round in 2010. They fake it to him, and then to the outside to Wallace, who gets a block, and Wallace turns it into close to a first down. Mike Adams, the right tackle, helping lead the way with a block. So Ben Roethlisberger, already 9 years in the league, already to 3 Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. And you can see passing yards per game, 233 over the first 8 seasons, and a little less than 300 this year. Second down, short 1, just shy of the midfield stripe. 2 tight ends. And Brown in motion to the inside, and now coming back out on 2nd and short. And he takes the pass, and the bubble screen to the right side. And Antonio Brown, who had a great year last year, resulted in a big contract, tackled by Vontaze Burfict, a guy we'll talk about as we proceed. Is quite a story this year, the rookie.
We've been talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their lack of a running game, under 3 yards per carry by average. So what they've really been doing now is incorporating these short, quick throws in Todd Haley's offense, and that has become their running game.
Haley last year, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, as he was for almost 3 full seasons, and before that, offensive coordinator in Arizona. And they hand the ball to Wallace, and that is broken up by Burfict. Burfict, who dropped from maybe becoming a first-round draft choice because he had a ton of personal fouls in Arizona State, behavioral issues and all of the rest, making a tremendous impact as a free agent.
Isn't it remarkable, a guy that goes undrafted all of a sudden has become one of the favorites here in Cincinnati. He really was a guy that defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer admitted, I didn't really want him.
But the Bengals through the years, as most of you who follow football know, they take chances. A lot of them. Some work out. 2nd and 16, others don't, as Jonathan Dwyer takes the ball across the midfield stripe. And let's take a look at the Cincinnati starting defense.
Robert Geathers, Georgia.
Domata Peko, Michigan State University.
Gino Ekin, all about the G, go Dogs.
Mike Johnson, Georgia Tech.
Manny Lawson, Eastern Wayne High School.
Ray Maulunga, the University of Southern California.
Vontaze Burfict, Arizona State.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State University.
Chris Crocker, Marshall University.
Reggie Nelson, University of Florida.
Leon Hall, Michigan.
All a good one. We all remember Newman all of those years with the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd and 9 from the Bengal 49-yard line. Roethlisberger hanging in. Line does a good job, and the pass is caught at the 31, and Brown then takes it to the 25-yard line, tackled by Adam Pac-Man Jones. 3rd and 9 conversion. Pittsburgh's been tremendous on 3rd down this year, tops in the league.
The Bengals bring up both linebackers and drop one out, but look at this protection. They leave in the tight end, they leave in the back, get one-on-one coverage on the backside, and for the Bengals, if their pass rush does not get there tonight, they have virtually no chance in this one.
Ben on 3rd down, take a look at that through week 6. 5 touchdowns, no picks, tremendous rating, and 32 first downs from the 25-yard line. To the ground again. Dwyer looks for room inside, finds none. Stopped by Peko, among others. It'll be 2nd and long.
Well, the big guy in charge of the run game inside, Domata Peko, pretty easy to pick him out with the hair flowing behind. He would have done all right as a Pittsburgh Steelers nose tackle as well. He is not going to get a lot of sacks, but you're going to run inside, you're going to get introduced to that big guy.
2nd and 9. That's Sanders in motion to the inside. Ben with that pump fake, has time, good protection again, and then floats one incomplete. Wallace nearest to it, covered by Leon Hall, great cornerback out of the University of Michigan. It'll be 3rd down and 9. We talked about, or Chris just did, Mike Zimmer, the Bengals defensive coordinator, a guy who could be a head coach someday. In fact, he was interviewed for the head jobs at Tampa Bay and Miami last season. Longtime Dallas Cowboy assistant.
This is where Ben loves to hold the ball, let his receivers work a little bit, see if the Bengals bring a little pressure here so he can't do that.
3rd and 9. And the Bengals bring the heat, and Ben has to slide away as he's been doing for years, and then it's dropped. Wallace was right there, would have had the first down, holds his helmet incomplete. 4th and 9, and in comes the field goal group.
You can't do it any better than that if you're Ben Roethlisberger. Just going to slide out of the pocket away from the pressure you talked about, Al. And boy, I tell you, Mike Wallace, your quarterback makes a play like that, you got to be able to catch that one.
Sean Sweezum will try to cash in for 3 on a 42-yard field goal attempt. Drew Butler to hold it. Greg Warren to snap it. And the first points of the night in Cincinnati belong to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Well, it's Cincinnati, so of course it's a Bengal crowd, but of course when the Steelers are on the road, doesn't matter where they are, you're going to have a lot of Steeler faithful around the country. And of course the two towns are separated by about a 4.5-hour drive or a 45-minute plane ride or just a boat ride down the Ohio River.
Yeah, a lot of those Steelers fans have good seats too. I'm wondering who gave up those tickets.
Sweezum's kickoff. This is Brandon Tate coming out of the end zone. Stays on his feet and brings the ball back out to the 20-yard line. 10:20 left in the opening quarter. 3-0 Pittsburgh. And here comes Dalton's gang. You watch Marvin Jones, one of the rookie wide receivers for Cincinnati, who got shaken up on that play going to the bench. Going to report on him. Meanwhile, Anthony Munoz, your old teammate, on SNF Extra tonight.
Get him out there.
Yeah. From the 20-yard line on first down. And this is Benjarvis Green Ellis, a former New England Patriot, came over as a free agent after they let Cedric Benson go. He wound up going to Green Bay, but he's on injured reserve right now, and he starts with a gain of 12.
A little trick to start here. They're going to bring their left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, over and let him play sort of the tight end position and go a little power football that way and break one off for Benjarvis Green Ellis. The fullback Chris Presley leading the way, and that's a good start for the Bengals. They need to see a little of that.
Big play offense for the Bengals. A lot of long touchdowns this year. Out of the hand of Dalton, who takes this one out of the shotgun, and then it is tipped and almost intercepted. A.J. Green couldn't handle it, and Larry Foote could see it coming into his hands, and then it goes to the ground.
Well, you talk to anybody around here and they'll talk about A.J. Green for hours. He is the superstar on this team right now, and he lets the first one go right through his hands, but the Bengals catch a huge break to not turn it over on their own end.
Second down and 10. They go empty again here. Dalton, second year out of TCU, throws underneath, short gain, caught. That's the tight end Jermaine Gresham, who'll be his number 2 receiver behind Green, tackled by Timmons. That'll make it 3rd down and 5. Andy Dalton, first rookie quarterback not drafted in the first round to start all 16 games since 1978. That was last year, and he wound up going to the Pro Bowl.
But this is where they've struggled on 3rd down this year.
3rd and 6. They've struggled on 3rd down. The Pittsburgh defense has struggled on 3rd down. This is like weakness against weakness right now. Who wins this battle? It'll be the Bengals on a completion to Andrew Hawkins, the 5'7", second-year wideout out of Toledo, tackled by Curtis Brown, and that moves the sticks.
Well, one of the things they're going to do is take James Harrison inside and try and work on this new look Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. But Andrew Hawkins, one of the quickest players in the game, about 5'7", and if you're going to try and play him one-on-one, going to be very difficult. The Bengals want to spread out the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight so that they can figure out who exactly it is that'll be blitzing them.
1st and 10 from the 49. Green Ellis across the 50. Short game. Let's take a look at the Bengals starters.
Andy Dalton, TCU.
Benjarvis Green Ellis, the law firm, Ole Miss.
Chris Presley, University of Wisconsin.
A.J. Green, University of Georgia.
Brandon Tate, University of North Carolina.
Jermaine Gresham, the University of Oklahoma.
Andrew Whitworth, LSU.
Clint Bowling,
Georgia.
Jeff Fain, Sanford Seminole High School. Kevin Zeitler, Wisconsin.
Andre Smith, Rose High.
Andre Smith, one-time number 1 draft pick back in 09. The interior of that line, though, they had to mix and match them together at the end of training camp. And on 2nd and 8, that's caught by Mohamed Sanu, a rookie out of Rutgers, who threw a touchdown pass in their game at Washington earlier this season. That'll set up a 3rd down and 2.
So far, we're seeing only 2 styles out of the Bengals. Either they're bringing everybody in tight and power running, or they're spreading everyone out so they can identify who the blitzers are. Once you get everybody spread wide, you can't get those 7 or 8 guys milling around the line of scrimmage, and any 5 of them come whenever they want.
Now they'll come up in a tighter formation with the fullback Presley. Green Ellis is the running back. And they give it to the former Patriot, breaks a tackle, and takes it to the 30-yard line before Ryan Clark stops him there. That is a gain of 14 to the 30. First down.
Powerful double team coming off between the rookie Kevin Zeitler and Andre Smith over there, and runs a double team right back into Larry Foote, the linebacker, and that's really what set up that run. The Bengals, at least thus far, are running better than they really have all year.
Green Ellis, 3 carries for 28 yards. The ball is at the 30. Steelers showing blitz, and here they come, but it's a run play with Green Ellis tackled at the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at the Steeler D.
Ziggy Hood, Missouri. Casey Hampton, Texas.
Brett Kiesel, Grable High School. Go Buffs.
Lamar Woodley, University of Michigan.
Larry Foote, Michigan.
Lawrence Timmons, Florida State.
James Harrison, Kent State.
Keenan Lewis, Old Perry Walker High School.
Will Allen, The Ohio State University.
Ryan Clark, LSU.
Ike T. Swagger University.
Ike Taylor, who normally gets the other team's #1, which means green tonight, and that pass is caught by Andrew Hawkins, his second grab. Tackled at the 26-yard line. Of course, the biggest guy missing on the defense tonight, once again, there's Troy Polamalu with that calf injury. They don't know when he will come back, but there is the wild card, and he's on the sideline again.
Yeah, and the thing that the Bengals were talking about the most was the impact that he has on the running game, because he has the ability to come off the edge and chase a play down from the backside. He jumps around out there and can just blow up 6 or 7 plays a game. It really throws you out of rhythm.
3rd down and 6. They go 3-by-2 to the left side. They got a couple of blockers out there for Sanu. Sanu breaking a couple of tackles, but is a little short of the 1st down as he takes the ball to the 21-yard line. That's going to make it 4th down and 1.
Mohamed Sanu really getting one of his first opportunities to play out here. They're just going to come out and swing out, and they're hoping that the other 2 guys can make enough blocks to pick up that 1st down. It looks like the Bengals at least are going to give them the old hard count here.
But they're going to line up on 4th and 1. They come up with their heavy package. Will they snap it though? With 4.5 to go in the quarter. They'll just try to draw the Steelers offside. And they're going to run the play, and they're going to give it to Green Ellis, and Green Ellis tries to angle his way across the 20, and I think he did get it. Chris Presley helped to lead the way, and that should be enough for a 1st down, and is on a 4th down call by Marvin Lewis.
Well, they're getting good power movement on the outside with Andre Smith and the rookie Kevin Zeitler over here, and that's all it is. There's just nothing more to it than that. You get that kind of backwards movement on the Steelers defensive line, you're going to be able to pick it up.
The guard Zeitler, 68, their #1 pick out of Wisconsin. They had a couple of picks in the 1st round. Green Ellis again chugs his way to the 16-yard line. So last year and for the past couple of years, Cedric Benson's done a nice job out of the backfield, but they let him go. And then Benjarvis Green Ellis comes to town. One of the reasons he comes to town is ball security. He had not fumbled in almost 600 handles of the football in his career at New England. What happens? He comes to Cincinnati. He's already fumbled 3 times, but he's turned in some good plays, and in particular tonight is off to a good start. 6 carries already for 33 yards. On 2nd down and 6, here goes Green Ellis again, and he takes it to the 11-yard line. So a long drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. They've already run 13 plays on this drive. Balance, 7 runs, 6 passes.
Yeah, and it's been almost all off to the right-hand side between those 2 guys, Kevin Zeitler, the rookie, and Andre Smith.
And now they go no huddle for the 1st time, and Green Ellis exploits that, and he'll make it 1st and goal, taking it to the 5-yard line. So the Cincinnati Bengals having trouble on 3rd down this year, but on this drive 3 out of 4, and Pittsburgh having trouble stopping it, and here they go again, no huddle. 1st and goal. And that's Cedric Pearman now coming into the game late. Pearman is the running back, and they're going to call his number, and Pearman is in for the touchdown. Better late than never for Pearman. First career touchdown for him. An 8-minute drive, 80 yards, 15 plays.
Jermaine Gresham's going to get up on Larry Foote and really set that up. Remember, this is Lamar Woodley's game back after a hamstring injury, and not often you see anybody take the ball and run it in one direction all the way down the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Bengals were not trying to fool anybody. They went behind their strength, and it worked.
They review the play as they do all scoring plays, get confirmation. Pearman late getting into the huddle, but they call his number, And in he goes, and now Nugent for the extra point. On that drive, 49 yards on the ground, 31 through the air. The Cincinnati Bengals take the lead 7-3. Cruise down the Ohio River. Look at downtown Cincinnati. Jay Gruden, the brother of John Gruden, is the offensive coordinator, second year. Did a masterful job with play calling right there. Going over the pictures. 15 plays, 80 yards to give the Bengals a 4-point lead. And the kickoff is fielded by Rainey, and he's going to come out from about 6 yards in. Chris Rainey, explosive. And a flag is thrown, which will negate a good part of that run back as he was tackled finally at the 32-yard line.
During the return, holding, return team, number 55. The penalty is half the distance from the goal line. Automatic first down.
First call of the night, referee Cleet Blakeman. Ben Roethlisberger, 9 years in the league now, has thrown more passes than any Steeler quarterback ever in the first 5 games of a season. He's only been sacked twice in the last 3 games. That's unusual. And as you can see, he's throwing shorter passes this season with more frequency. And one of the big stories in Pittsburgh throughout the offseason and into the season is the fact they let Bruce Arians go as the offensive coordinator. He and Ben got along famously. Arians now the interim head coach in Indianapolis. They brought in Todd Haley, and it's been a story. It's an ongoing story. In the meantime, Ben has a pass rating of almost 100. Has only thrown 2 interceptions and is being sacked very little. The only issue is they haven't been winning. So it's a story.
Yep.
From the everything's a story. From the 9-yard line. Ben slides left, throws, and that one is dropped again. That's 2 drops tonight from Mike Wallace.
Well, I tell you, with the way Mike Wallace can run, Reggie Nelson just overplays this thing from the safety position. Watch him jump in front of Mike Wallace. It goes behind his head. You never know with the way that guy can run. That's 2. Steelers looked like they were going to score on the first drive. He dropped it and dropped a big one there to get him out of their own end zone.
2nd and 10. Dwyer is the running back. Straight drop. Little pump fake, and then the pass is caught over the middle. That is David Paulson making the catch. Every time you throw to a tight end, you think it's Heath Miller, but occasionally it's the other guy.
Occasionally it's not. And anytime you see somebody playing left tackle, usually it's Max Starks out there. And Max has had a few knee issues and physical problems, but Ben Roethlisberger was telling us, he said, I don't even think about the left side. I don't. I just know that Max is going to get the job done. It may not always be pretty, but he's going to get it done. He's working against a couple of pretty good pass rushers on the outside tonight. Carlos Dunlap, Michael Johnson.
3rd and 3. I think that was a funny bit, though. He's every time a tight end makes the catch, they start that Heath chant like in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, it's Paulson, the rookie out of Oregon, 7th round pick. 3rd and 3.
Paulson, I don't think that works.
Paulson, no, doesn't. On 3rd and 3. Ben again extending the play, and then throws, and it's caught, and that is Jericho Cotchery up at the 34. And we were talking to Ben last night about when you're out of the pocket, when you're extending the play, what do you do? What do the receivers do? And he says it's like being out on the street. It's all freelance.
Yeah, and Geno Atkins makes a lot of people freelance right here. Watch the move against Ramon Foster inside. And Geno Atkins just got posterized by Ben Roethlisberger, but he's on a long list of guys that have missed Ben.
They go no huddle here in the waning seconds of the quarter. And the pass to the outside. Now they can let out the Heath as Miller makes the catch and is tackled up at the 44-yard line, setting up 2nd and short.
Yeah, Heath made that catch, but they like this David Paulson. He's really become the number 2 tight end over Leonard Pope. And the belief is that with both those guys inside, one of the things that they wanted to do with Todd Haley was work more to the tight end, and they think Paulson's going to be a good one.
And they'll let the clock run down, and that's going to take us to the 2nd quarter. So we've played 1 in Cincinnati, the Bengals 7, and the Steelers 3. And Sunday Night Football from Cincinnati continues after these messages.
It's Monday.
167.
And Rick is filled with fantasy football pride from a successful Sunday, so he's feeling pretty good.
Here's your coffee, Rick.
But he overlooked Monday Night Football, where Clarence has 2 players to go. So he comes back to reality.
Made your coffee.
So reserve your fantasy smack for Tuesday morning, because it all comes down to Monday night.
Come on, boys. We got to put it in now. Let's go.
Ben has time. Throws it for the end zone. Mike Wallace. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. How about that? Beautiful timing.
Ben just lays it out there.
Ben wants to throw it down the field. There's a man open, running for the end zone. We've got a Steelers touchdown. He's going to run and throw it on the run for the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Right here. Right here. Hard.
In Cincinnati, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Look at downtown. All lit up tonight. The old team from WKRP in Cincinnati. Start the second quarter. Second down and 2 from the Pittsburgh 44-yard line. Play action. Look out. Ben has to get it away and does in time, and Miller makes the catch for a gain of 1, 3rd down and 1. Now that Cincinnati defense, among other things, they have 11 defensive backs on the roster. 7 of them were #1 draft choices, but up front you got Atkins and Michael Johnson, 2 guys who don't get very much acclaim around the country, but they are really good. 97 and 93. And right now Peckel, of course, 94 in the game. He'd be the guy most notable, primarily because of that flowing mane. 3rd and 1. And now it's Dwyer busting his way to the 49-yard line. Goes the 3rd year back out of Georgia Tech. And that Cincinnati defense, a very good pass rushing group. That's almost 2 full seasons with a sack. And if they do it tonight, that would be the equivalent of 2 full. 1 sack every 10.5 opponents dropbacks, and that would be the best rate in the league.
But it's one thing to get to Ben. It's another thing to get him on the ground. And we just saw Reggie Nelson miss. Earlier we saw Geno Atkins miss. So they've had a chance for 2, and they're 0 for 2.
From the 48-yard line. Dwyer to the outside. He can't get away, and you got a flag coming in. 2, in fact, 2 flags. One at the line of scrimmage, the other came in from the back judge.
Holding. Offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Heath Miller.
Well, a lot of times you see grabbing of the jersey inside, but that time Heath Miller kind of got thrown off. And as he was getting thrown off, you could see him tugging on the jersey. And so the official, who ordinarily would not have much of a view of that because he got turned sideways, he saw it and threw the flag.
So it's 1st down and 20 now, and Chris Rainey is going to come into the game in the backfield, the rookie out of Florida, 5th-round pick. As we mentioned at the very top, the run-back man as well, and a guy who can explode. And this time Rainey, gain of about 4. Malaluga makes the tackle. What was it that Haley was saying last night? You know, you look at Rainey, he's a guy who'll gain 1, 1, 2, -1, 50.
Yeah, in the 50s always looked pretty good. He was at the University of Florida, so I saw him play quite a bit. Just such an explosive guy, and of course grew up and lived with the family of Marquise Pouncey, who's the center on this team, usually not playing tonight because of injury.
Marquise hurt in the Tennessee game a week ago Thursday on the first series. Again, Mendenhall and Redmond, they're 1 and 2 backs, both inactive tonight. And on 2nd and 16, that is caught, and that's Antonio Brown turning the corner and turns it into a big gain and a first down, and it's Rainey who threw a nice block to help spring him. Brown, who had a fabulous year last year and paid off with a big contract, picks up 21.
I mean, as a defender, you just never expect this to happen. The receiver catch it, turn up the field, and then go backwards behind you. Terrence Newman, I don't think in his wildest dreams thought that Antonio Brown was going to do that, but when you get a guy who is a 1,000-yard kick returner and a Pro Bowler from a season ago, those are the kind of plays you get.
And fooling a 10th-year defensive back who you think has seen it all. From the 37-yard line, first down. And that's caught over the middle, and that is Rainey for a gain of about 8 to the 29-yard line. It'll be second down and 2. Burfict making the stop.
Well, so far Heath Miller hasn't been on a lot of routes because he's over here helping Mike Adams, the rookie offensive tackle who's in the game because of the injury to Marcus Gilbert, and the strategy has worked well. Because of the protection, Ben has been able to stand there, and these receivers at this point are a little better one-on-one down the field than are the Bengals defensive backs.
Second down and 2. Baron Batch is now the running back, so they've used all 3 running backs here, and that is Brown, and that's a behind the line of scrimmage pass, and then the pass is dropped by Baron Batch, who had an easy touchdown.
Oh, what a brilliant play call. You've got Mike Wallace on the left, who goes across the middle of the field and empties everybody. You see the lateral, has to be thrown behind, perfectly thrown ball, and that's just a panic attack. You know, you do it all day in practice, you never drop one of these things, and you get out there and the whole world watching you, and he didn't even come close. Like he even dropped it, he freaked out.
First time in his 3 years in the league that Brown has attempted a pass. Third and 2. And Roethlisberger, this time Wallace is able to hold on, takes it to the 21-yard line, and that's a first down.
Boy, I tell you what, we talked about the reshuffled offensive line up front, and it starts with Doug Legursky playing for Marquise Pouncey right in the middle. They're doing all these little stunts, and Legursky, who played in the Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger when Pouncey was hurt then, has been getting it done. You have to have the signal caller up there as the center, and Legursky's really as good as Pouncey at that, according to Ben Roethlisberger.
Played in the Super Bowl with him against Green Bay a couple of years back at the 21-yard line. Good protection, fired into the end zone, and it is picked off. Chris Crocker with Cincinnati's 3rd interception, only 3 all season long. 2 of them by Crocker to stymie that drive. Chris Crocker with his 2nd pick, Chris.
Yeah, brilliant play by Crocker on that one. And the Bengals have been so unsettled at the safety position, they had to retrieve their veteran from last year, whom they had cut. And he comes up big.
And from the 20-yard line, Green Ellis goes nowhere. Second down and 10, and back we go to the interception.
Yeah, Crocker just sitting back and waiting on this one, but the Bengals have made so many mistakes. Gave up a big play in Cleveland because of their 2 safeties last week, and you see him just jump this straight over the top. And a lot of times everybody wants to talk about 40 speed and vertical jump and all that stuff, but experience and knowledge and intelligence often plays a role, and Crocker played that one perfectly.
Second down and 10, and Dalton's pass is good for a gain of about 2. That's Brandon Tate, who came over on waivers from New England last year. And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Bengals rookie wide receiver Marvin Jones, who we saw get injured earlier on a kickoff, is out for the rest of the night with a right knee injury. So they're down 1 more wide receiver and a special teams player.
So both sides right now missing key folks as Cedric Pierman comes into the game, flanking Dalton on 3rd down and 7 from the 23-yard line.
The Steelers are attacking the line of scrimmage here.
Blitz coming, and the pass is through the hands of Jermaine Gresham, which has happened with him from time to time. 4th down.
Or they catch a break there, and James Harrison drops back in coverage. End up with your tight end on him, and boy, we've seen a lot of drops tonight. It's changed the game. The Steelers have been dropping them left and right, and well, the Bengals trying to match them.
Kevin Huber to punt, and Antonio Brown will accept it. And Brown backs up and hauls it into the 23-yard line. And with room to roam, there goes Brown. A flag is thrown, however, and that about 98% of the time means it's on the receiving team. So, all likelihood that baby's coming back.
Well, Antonio Brown is something, isn't he? See him set up that cut.
Well, it'll be penalty-free game. Haven't seen much of Cleet Blakeman tonight.
But really, Steelers' mistake so far in this early going has been the difference.
Yep. Drops, the interception.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 30. Penalty is 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
That's DeMarcus Van Dyke. 8:42 left. First half, 7-3, Bengals. It would take you about 15 minutes to eat that for 63 years. Skyline Chili, synonymous with Cincinnati. The original chili recipe. Cheese conies are three-way spaghetti topped with chili and cheese. We've both had a few.
Oh, baby. When you're in Cincinnati, you start eating that stuff.
Absolutely.
It's good.
From the 13 on first down. Play action. And then Ben loses the ball as the arm coming forward. They're going to rule it a fumble and recovered by the Bengals. Devin Still and Robert Gathers came in and put the heat on Ben. Was his arm coming forward is going to be the question.
It looked like it was initially, and then he sort of gathered himself. See, it was coming forward there, but then it came out. That's going to be a fumble. Looks like it is, but then he still has control, then tried to raise his arm again, and then it came out. But Al, that was one of the first times all night tonight that Mike Adams, the right tackle, did not get help, and the Steelers paid the price for it.
You know what you have there is you almost have the old tuck rule in effect for the first part of it, and then he brings the ball back.
Yeah, if he had lost it on the first motion, then, you know, the Steelers would have had the ball back. But Mike Adams, they rolled the dice there, and it cost him.
And
we'll take a look, aren't they?
Well, Tomlin, well, you've got, well, what you have here is a turnover. So you have an automatic review. Timeout. They reviewed it. Here's Blakeman's call.
After review of the play, the quarterback attempted to recock his arm and lost the ball in the process. It is a fumble. The ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Cincinnati.
This is a most interesting play because the tuck rule, we all know about the tuck rule from Kurt Warner and Tom Brady and all of the rest. He initially tries to tuck it back in. If he had done that and not recocked his arm or untucked the ball in a manner of speaking, then he would have gotten away with it. But then he brings the ball back, and that's when the fumble occurs.
Yeah, he'd like to bring the ball back, wouldn't he?
Yep.
This is when traditionally the Steelers defense rises up and makes a play. They need a big one here.
Wallace Gilberry is the man who recovered. The ball's at the 8, and the pass to the end zone is caught for a touchdown by A.J. Green. And just like that, the Bengals have a 2-possession lead. The turnover, 1 play, touchdown, Dalton to Green.
You know, Ike Taylor is going to settle outside here because he has safety help inside, really in perfect position, and somehow they sneak that ball in there. They go with their power look like they're going to run the ball, and I don't know how Ike Taylor missed that one, but Ryan Clark unable to get there soon enough.
6 straight games with a touchdown pass from Dalton to Green. They've gotten into the end zone in every game but the opener against Baltimore. The Who Day chant starts here in Cincinnati. And the Cincinnati Bengals trying to go to 4-3, up by 11 against the Steelers. Well, the last name is Dalton, so there's a connection here. The nicknames for Andy Dalton would include 007, Cincinnati Red, not a bad one, and the Red Rifle, maybe his favorite. And here's the Red Rifle in action.
He rifled that one in there. I mean, now you don't get any smaller window than that. I'm sure Ike Taylor feels like he's cursed after some of the things that happened to him in the game against Tennessee, giving up plays. And there's Jordan Dalton. She's going to say, hey, had it all the way. James Bond. Now, that one may stick a little bit. That was pretty good. I wouldn't mind being called James Bond.
An 11-point lead as the kickoff is fielded at the 1 by Chris Rainey. And he gets popped at the 21 by Vincent Ray. Penalty on the play.
If this is against the Steelers, it'd be 3 straight kicks, I think, with pretty decent returns.
A lot of hidden yardage because of penalties this year against the Steelers.
During the return, holding, return team, number 20. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that's Batch, who dropped what would have been a touchdown pass. And the Steelers this season, 36 yards per game difference in terms of penalties. You see Wallace dropping one here, so you got the mistakes. You got Wallace dropping one there. You got Batch. That would have been a sure 6. And then Foote had a chance to intercept a pass there, and then Roethlisberger throws an interception, and Roethlisberger fumbles, and Cincinnati takes advantage. So far so good for the Bengals as Dwyer busts one over the right side and has enough for a first down. Jonathan Dwyer.
Wasn't it interesting talking to Roethlisberger about Jonathan Dwyer, and he said, you know, we had a guy named Jerome Bettis around here who was a big guy that had great feet, and he's kind of, that's what Jonathan Dwyer's kind of like. And I could almost feel myself going, oh, come on. That's easy on that comparison, but you could see he's about a 230-pound guy, and he does have good feet.
Had a 100-yard game against Tennessee last year. First and 10 from the 22-yard line. They run a draw with him. And Dwyer takes the ball to the 27-yard line, tackled by Luga, and that's a gain of 5.
Yeah, Willie Colon inside doing a nice job. He's moved from tackle to guard, and it was a significant move. He didn't have any experience inside at all. Went 2 years, only played in 1 game, then got moved to guard. But a big, strong guy was probably their power blocker over at right tackle all those years when they loved to run off to the right side. Now he's doing it from the left guard.
2nd and 5. Bunch 3 receivers to the left side. Leave Miller in there to block. And Dwyer will set up a 3rd and 2 from the 30-yard line.
Oh, we're used to seeing Heath Miller making plays in the passing game, but in this one, he's been a pass blocker and a run blocker, and that's a tough block, getting down inside enough to cut off a speedster like Michael Johnson. But isn't it interesting? They've gone back to the running game when everything was unsettled and tried to run their way out of this.
3rd and a deuce from the 30. 6.5 to go in the half. Running game again. Big hole for Dwyer, and away goes Dwyer across the 50 to the 48-yard line before he falls down at Reggie Nelson's feet. That's a gain of 21 yards on a 3rd and 2.
Boy, Willie Colon's getting it done over here when everything else has been going the wrong way. He's on gathers. Watch him just stay on that block. That's awesome. That's how you get those massive Pittsburgh Steeler kind of running lanes to go through. You used to see it on the right side. Now you're seeing it right up the gut.
Pittsburgh converting over 50% on 3rd down this year. They're 5 of 6 tonight. First down at the 49-yard line. This time they call Baron Batch's number. Gain of 2 to the 47-yard line for the 2nd-year man out of Texas A&M, who was their 7th-round pick last year.
Geno Atkins right inside number 97. Just came down and clogged that thing up. He's a guy, he's so quick. And you think of him as like a speed player, but he's a 500-pound bench presser. And all of a sudden you see pass rushers, they get ready for those little quick moves of his, and then he just barrels over him. He's a big, strong, powerful guy. Went to the Pro Bowl last year.
2nd and 8 from the 47-yard line. End around. Here comes Brown. And Brown will get a first down before he runs out of bounds at the Cincinnati 34-yard line. Gain of 13 for Antonio.
Just so many great athletes on this team, and anytime you start hammering away inside, it sets up the option of trying to get some of these great playmakers that they have out and around. Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, athletically about as good a group as you'll find in the NFL.
All runs on this drive, all 6 plays, and they make it 7 for 7. And this is Baron Batch for a gain of 2. And you've got Willie Colon who gets involved in that skirmish with some other combatants. And Blakeman stops the clock and pile and sort it out.
One of the things that Willie Colon has kind of had to learn how to do is pull. The Pittsburgh Steelers have always loved that power play. That time he met Vontaze Burfict there in the hole, but he thinks you're supposed to keep blocking. That's, you know, if you, I love offensive linemen that are like this. He's on the ground. You got to keep. Wow. You know, that's Pittsburgh Steelers stuff right there. That is what's defined this organization and all those world championships.
2nd and 8, and that's a pass to Brown on the outside. That's the first time Roethlisberger has thrown a pass on this drive. A little short pass, kind of an elongated run. 7 runs, 1 pass on a drive that began back at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, and really these long drives have become the signature part under Todd Haley's offense. 10-play drives, only the New England Patriots have more this season, so they're going to end up with a lot of these 3rd and 5s, and this is really where Ben's been at his best.
And the Steelers are 2nd in the league in time of possession. 3rd and 5. Sliding left. Ben going to the end zone, and it's another drop by Mike Wallace, and that time almost picked by Leon Hall. Hall thought he had a shot to pick it. Take a look and see if it was tipped or not, and Wallace couldn't hang on.
Couldn't tell, but Leon Hall made a nice adjustment. It looked like he was going to be burned looking the wrong way. Gets back underneath, and just hard to tell if he was distracted or actually got. I think that ball definitely got tipped. Yeah, nice play by Leon Hall.
So now that sets up a 47-yard field goal attempt for Sean Sweezum. And he has accounted for all of the Pittsburgh scoring tonight. The kick is good. A little more than 3 to go to the half. It's 14-6. Bengals. Across from the banks of Kentucky, across the Ohio River, into downtown Cincinnati on this Sunday night. Beautiful night, clear skies. Temperature at game time was 60. Bengals up by 8, trying to go to 4-3, and the Steelers are trying to square their record at 3-3 and win their first game on the road this year. 8 yards into the end zone. That will be down there by Brandon Tate. Let's take a look at A.J. Green, a man of many talents. There he is, and he learned to do that as a kid. Great hand-eye coordination that he possesses right now, and it's it looks easy, but it's not, as we both know. I think we both know, right?
Nothing looks easy about it to me. You're a juggler from way back, huh?
Oh yeah, right. I've juggled a few things. Over the middle to the 28-yard line. So Chris, you played in Cincinnati. You've lived here all these years. The mood of the town right now. The Bengals have been so up and down through the years. Where's the town right now?
You know, I think they realize this is a young football team, but they have young stars, and A.J. Green right at the top of that list. Andy Dalton, they come right out in their first year together and make it to the playoffs. They go to the Pro Bowl. I mean, this is a team that has a chance. They're maybe a few years away from really being special, but not bad.
And here is Gresham, and he needs the first down. He turns at the line to gain and comes up a little bit short as Woodley makes the stop, and now he rotates his arm and shoulder, and it will be 3rd down and short, just short of the 30-yard line.
And every time this happens, they get in one of these short yardage situations. The Bengals go hurry up with this power set, and they've been picking it up.
3rd and inches into the ground again, and Green Ellis will pick up that first down, getting across the 30, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. On the other side of the 2-minute warning, the Bengals will have all of their timeouts. 14-6, Cincinnati. At least we don't have to get security for Hines in Cincinnati now that he's retired.
A lot of places.
Right. 2 minutes to the half. First down, ball at the 31. Bengals with all of their timeouts. And then the blitz coming, and that's tipped and incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Believe it or not, that is the first tip at the line of scrimmage by that Steeler defense all season. Took them 5.5 games to get there.
Yeah, and you think of the teams like the Houston Texans we saw last week, and again today, if you watch them play, so many of their big plays all year come off those tip plays. And on the outside, Cincinnati's best, Andrew Whitworth against James Harrison, coming off that knee injury. So far, Harrison not a factor.
Ziggy Hood was able to swat it. 2nd down and 10. Pressure is put on, and into traffic. That's caught by the tight end Gresham. And just before Dalton went down, he's able to shovel the ball to his tight end. Lamar Woodley put the heat on Andy, and that's a first down.
Well, Timmons had man coverage on Gresham that time and was right there, but just couldn't wrap up the big guy.
From the 45 with 90 seconds. Good protection. And that is tipped and intercepted by Woodley. So they don't have a tip ball all year and get 2 in one series, and the second results in an interception.
I'm not sure he meant to throw that ball. It looked like Andy Dalton was trying to hold on to the football, and it just, watch and see if he really is trying to throw this or trying to pull it back. See, you could almost tell he was trying to hold on to it. It slips out and hits his own man in the back of the helmet. That goes straight up in the air. Kevin Zeitler's the helmet that came off. And Lamar Woodley, welcome back after a week off.
Well, so take the tip away because the tip came off the helmet of his own man, Zeitler, the right guard. And that's the first turnover of the night for Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's turned it over twice. The ball at the 29. Rainey is the running back. Roethlisberger in the shotgun.
Bengals in their pressure set, and Ben audibling. Let's see if they check out of it.
Steelers with all of their timeouts, and Ben to the outside, and that'll be caught from the 11-yard gain by Brown at the 19-yard line, and that moves the chains with 1:18 to the half.
It's a good job by Roethlisberger. When you stack all those linebackers inside to fake a blitz, and that's all it was, a fake blitz, you just cannot run anybody out underneath that out route. He saw it and took advantage to Brown.
At the 19. Sanders comes across the formation. Play fake. Pressure on to the outside. That's caught by Sanders. And Sanders gains 9 yards, gets inside the 10, 2nd and short.
And they had people all around Sanders as he tried to get the release. You even saw the defensive end there take a little grab. Carlos Dunlop and Leon Hall seemed to lose track of him, but now you're getting Ben out in space, and Ben outside the pocket against the Bengals has been a nightmare for this Bengals defense. They have just had no answer for that over the years.
Ben outside the pocket, about as proficient as any quarterback in the league over the last decade. 2nd and 1 from the 10. To the outside again. That's caught by Miller. The ball comes loose and then is out of bounds. Reggie Nelson with a big pop. It was a 2nd and 1. It'll be 3rd down and 1 now.
Good call by the officials here. He makes a clean catch, but gets hit instantaneously, and the ball comes out. They do not give you completions in that circumstance because they don't want those being fumbles. So you have to make a catch and make a move. All that kind of stuff comes into play.
Simple incompletion, making it 3rd and 1. Dwyer is the running back. Tight formation. Give it to him to try to get that yard, and it's going to be close. Needs to get to the 8-yard line. Miller stays in the block as they go heavy here, and the question is it a 1st down or not? They're going to put it right down on the 8-yard line, and Pittsburgh is going to take a timeout regardless. Before we went away, it was close. They measured by half the length of the football. They got the 1st down. Didn't need the timeout that they were prepared to call because there was timeout for the measurement. So it's 1st down and goal, and Roethlisberger throws, and that's Wallace, and he will go next to nowhere. It's Vontaze Burfict, the rookie from Arizona State, tracking him down. It'll be 2nd down and goal, and that will stop the clock with 29 seconds on a Pittsburgh timeout.
And it looked like Pittsburgh called for the timeout, but the measurement, I think, was the reason the timeout was called. And so now the Steelers still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Right, with 29 seconds. Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati.
Now here's the time that ordinarily you think power football or Heath Miller, maybe something like that, but Chris Rainey in the backfield brings out a lot of possibilities.
2nd down and goal. Roethlisberger steps up, throws, and that is Miller for the touchdown. Heath Miller does it year after year. That is his 5th touchdown reception of the season.
Well, Heath Miller's been blocking all night. This time, they finally released the man, let him go down, and Terrence Newman is really right there. But those big tight ends, as we've seen with Gronkowski and others, you just can't get around them and make a play.
So you had the Woodley pick, and now you've got Mike Tomlin, who's going to go for 2 and try to tie the game. 2 bodies of thought here. I mean, through the years, it's early in the game. You go for 1. I like this call. Even though it's very early, I like the call. Jonathan Dwyer is the running back. You don't.
I would have kicked it.
All right. And Marvin Lewis is going to take a timeout. So timeout for the Bengals taken here. So funny, we look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a quote machine. I love the way he puts words together. He's very succinct. So we say to him last night, come on, give us 2 sentences about the game. He says, turnovers will make the difference. I said, every coach says that about every game.
But how's the game come out?
Right.
Turnovers have been the difference in the game.
Kidding him on the field before the game. He said, no, I really mean this. It's a division game, and when these 2 teams meet, it's going to make the difference. And tonight, it's been the big story. And Marvin Lewis, through the years, I mean, he has stressed getting turnovers and not turning the ball over. And take a look at that. His record, when it's a positive ratio, 45, 11, and 1, negative 10 and 51. Right now in this game, he's +1. And now Pittsburgh, and Roethlisberger looking to take a timeout here. And now they're going to run the play.
I don't think the whole timeout after a timeout kind of thing.
The 2-yard line, they tell him no, and now they got to run the play. And Roethlisberger will float one, and it is caught by Miller again for the 2-point conversion. Heath Miller, he can catch him over the middle as he's done for years. He can catch him on the outside as he does there on the fade.
You know, it's one of the things that makes it so tough with these big tight ends. You bring them down, but you can also flank them out. Here he is on the outside against Leon Hall. How about that release move for a tight end? Made him believe he was going to run a slant. They didn't want to run the play. Ended up working out all right for him.
Miller gets that left knee down just before he hits the stripe.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have to be thrilled. All the mistakes they made in the first quarter and a half of this game, for them to be sitting here in a 14-14 tie at this point, pretty remarkable.
The reason that they couldn't get that other timeout is because, remember, before the Cincinnati timeout, Pittsburgh had taken a timeout. So you would have had a third successive timeout. And that's why it was waved off. So they had to run the play that they might have changed had they gotten the timeout. In the best laid plans, of course. Turned out to be the best laid plans.
You know, for the Steelers, I really thought they got themselves settled down and back on track when they started running the football. Remember, they're backed up down there, and they just started pounding it, and all of a sudden then the play action started working, and kind of old-style Pittsburgh Steeler football.
Brandon Tate will be back in the end zone. Sean Sweezum. And that kick, well, it's going to be fielded at the 8-yard line instead of letting it go out of bounds and taking it at the 40. That's Chris Presley. You know, I'm thinking about that timeout situation again. Pittsburgh actually should have been allowed to take the timeout because Pittsburgh took a timeout, ran a play, resulted in a touchdown. Since he then took the timeout, so Pittsburgh actually should have been allowed to take a timeout.
I bet you the Bengals
wave
wish
it off
they
right
had.
now. Yeah, right.
It all worked out in the Steelers' favor in the end.
And now Cincinnati will take a knee here to end the opening half, which was pretty much dominated by Cincinnati until late in the second quarter. Big turnover, touchdown in the middle, 2-point conversion, and we'll go to the half with the game tied 14-14. So coming up next, it'll be the Toyota halftime show with Bob D'Antoni, Rodney, and Hines Ward after these messages from your local NBC station.
In the closing minute of the first half in Cincinnati, it's Roethlisberger to Miller, first for the touchdown, then for the 2-point conversion, tied at 14 at halftime. To New York and Dan Patrick.
All right, Bob, with Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison, you said Ben would throw it 50 times tonight. What do you think of that game plan for the second half?
Well, he's only thrown 21 so far. They could run the ball more, but I see 29 passes in the second half.
All right, let's get to the highlights as we bring you Week 7. We start with the Minnesota Vikings, who have been very surprising. At home against the Cardinals, how about Adrian Peterson for Comeback Player of the Year? 153 yards, 13 yards on this touchdown run. Minnesota's now 5-2 on the year as they put away the Cardinals 21-14. Packers-Rams, Aaron Rodgers, 6 touchdown passes last week, only 3 today, including 2 to Randall Cobb. Rodgers threw for 342, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Green Bay now 4-3. Saints-Buccaneers. Drew Brees threw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns in the first half, including this unbelievable catch by Joseph Morgan. Tampa had a chance. Josh Freeman, Mike Williams, he was pushed out of bounds. He can't be the first player to touch the ball coming back in. Saints hold on to win it. Breeze against Peyton Manning in Denver next Sunday night here on NBC. Cowboys, Panthers, Tony Romo, Miles Austin. The only Cowboys touchdown on the afternoon. Boys hang on to win 19-14. They got the Giants coming to town. Speaking of which, strong performance from RG3 in his first division game against the Giants. Santana Moss. This was the go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth. But time still left on the clock for Eli Manning, and he finds Victor Cruz. Cruz had 7 catches, 131 yards, and the game winner. New York now 5-2 on the year. Jets and the Patriots. Devin McCourty returned a kickoff for a touchdown early in the game. He giveth, he taketh away. A late fumble on a kickoff return allowed the Jets to take the lead with under 2 minutes to play. Steven Gostkowski hit a 43-yarder as time expired. This 48-yarder in overtime put the Patriots up on the Jets' possession in OT. Mark Sanchez sacked, stripped of the ball. Rob Ninkovich recovers. Patriots hold on to win it. They improved to 4-3. Ravens-Texans. Houston dominated. J.J. Watt tips Joe Flacco's path. Jonathan Joseph picks it off, and he's gone. Arian Foster ran for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Texans scored a franchise record 43 points. You can get all the sports news and highlights in 20 minutes every morning on the NBC Sports Network from 6 till 10 a.m. Eastern with the lights. Back to Baltimore and Houston here, Rodney. 2 teams going in opposite directions. What do you think of Baltimore's performance today?
Well, Baltimore's defense is struggling, and part of the responsibility of your offense